This is the Bafeng or 8-Fun BBS02. It's a bottom bracket, mid-drive based electric bike kit that you can kind of install on different bikes. It's not available everywhere. You can get this kit from Long Island Electric Bikes, and they will ship it to you, and they can pair it with a bunch of different battery options. This is just sort of a generic 48 volt, 11.6 amp hour lithium pack that they've got installed sort of on the down tube of this Surly Karate Monkey. And I've got to say, this is just tricked out. I mean, these guys were having a lot of fun with this thing. They put on a new Vinci continuously variable transmission on the rear, so you can shift this at standstill. And basically, the way that mid-drive electric bikes work is they're taking advantage of your mechanical drivetrain, the same thing that you use to pedal, the motor's using. So it makes these excellent for climbing, and it's efficient. You're really taking advantage of the best gear for riding, and you're reducing unsprung weight. You're making it easier to service your wheels, your tires. There's lots of reasons that mid-drives make sense, and this one's actually pretty good. I've reviewed some other bikes that have mid-drives that were a little bit disappointing. They just weren't as fast, they weren't as responsive, but there are a lot of benefits to something like this, including keeping the weight low and centered, as you can see there. Right, all the weight on this bike, like the battery, the motor, everything is right there in the middle, and it's a lot of fun. This isn't quite as smooth or as sophisticated as like a Bosch system. It really only uses a cadence sensor, so as you're turning cranks, it says, oh, they're turning, activate the motor, and then it just searches for what mode you're in. Right now we're in assist level 3, and we've got this nice little breakout switch here, so I can go down to 2 or 1. And you can configure almost everything in this. You can change from miles per hour. You can change the wheel size of your bike. We're using 29ers on this right now. You can change the number of assist levels. So 100%, let's say 3 is the top right here, right? We could put, like 9 levels of assist, and basically it just chops up those levels into finer increments. So there's that. It's got a backlight. This display kind of swivels. It's not especially easy to remove. It is sort of bolted on. But it's nice, it's big, you can kind of swivel it forward to back if it's glaring in your eyes, and it works with this assist sensor right here, as well as a twist throttle. It's fairly modular. See the little wire plugs here, and they've done a good job running them along the frame. In this one, they've also put the speed sensor right here with this magnet, and that's gonna let you basically see how fast you're riding. So the kit that we're looking at actually has a 750 watt motor in there. That's awesome. I mean, for the United States, that's the top of the line. You really can't go higher than that and use this as a street legal bicycle. So they're taking full advantage of power, and I would call it a high speed motor. It does feel like you've got good power, but it's not like, oh my gosh, this is the most powerful thing I've ever been on. It's just, it does have that capacity, and you can use that for speed, or you can use it for climbing depending on which gear you've got. It comes with this motor. You basically take the bottom bracket and all of that assembly off of your existing bike and then put this on. The motor, it comes with the chain ring in the front and this sort of disc right there, along with the crank arms. And then you pick out some other battery. Again, this is just sort of a generic option. So it's a good setup. I would say one of the drawbacks is that this really can only fit normal size bottom brackets, so 68 to 73 versus like 100 is wider, and that's what they use for like the fat tire bicycles. So this isn't really set up to work with fat tire bicycles, but for something like this, this isn't, this is fairly large tire, and the bike is a ton of fun to ride, and it's really interesting to build something like this. As we see more Panasonic mid-drives and Bosch mid-drives and that kind of thing, those have like speed sensors, torque sensors, cadence sensors all working together. This is simpler. It's just cadence or twist throttle, but it still does a good job. And it's neat that you could get this yourself and you could put it on a bike like this that you already have, that you love, or for example, like a recumbent, or maybe like a trike, or you've got something like a cargo bike, and they've done that. So I'm gonna show that in a bit. But let's hop on, give you some idea of what this sounds like. So I'm in the highest level of assist. It's worth noting that if I go down to 0, nothing works. Like the throttle doesn't work, no assist happening. And I feel like maybe that's a missed opportunity. I feel like if I want nothing, I can just turn the system off. What if I want throttle only mode? Like, there's no way to do that. I have to turn on assist. I'm throttling, I'm going along, it's fine. I let off the throttle and then I pedal for a second, and then I get like a surprise, like, oh yeah, pedal assist is on. Sometimes I just like to separate the two, and they could have done that really easily. So, end rant. I'm gonna turn this up to like 1 and just give you some idea of what it sounds like here. Pretty quiet, pretty responsive. I mean, you know, impressive system here. I'm gonna take it up to 3 now. The other thing that this kit comes with are these sort of power cutoff brake levers. So you can see this wire right here. When I pull the brake, that cuts power to the motor, and then here's the standard cable. So that's another thing that comes with the kit. This time I'm going to use the throttle. Pretty impressive. It definitely gets you going. So that's the other thing about this. It really changes the performance depending on what gear you're in. So right now I'm in a really low gear. It's for climbing. And if I turn this into more of a high gear, see how the hill like flattens out. This is a gear that you'd want to use for high speed, but starting out, it's going to be harder for the motor to turn. So let's give you some idea of what that's like. Woo! Easily reaching our 20 miles per hour. So it started out a little slower, but not bad. I mean, this, you know, at 750 watts, you're getting a lot of torque. So here's another setup with the Bafang BBS02. In this case, it's mounted on a KMX trike, very similar to what Outrider uses actually. And, you know, just set up right there on the front, kind of mounted the display on the arm. Again, this is a 750 watt kit. They do have a 350 watt kit that runs on 36 volt battery. This one has to run on 48. So in this case, you've got like an all sail battery pack, you know, just kind of tossed in the pannier along with the controller back here. So very cool setup. It's neat to see something like this. The price range on this, it's like $750 for the motor, but when you get into all the accessories and a battery pack, we're talking about $1,500. So you take $1,500 and a little bit of time, or maybe you pay a shop to help you out, and you could build something like this, and it works really well. But I've got to say, one of the trade-offs to this system versus like a Bosch or something that's a little more integrated is that, you know, first of all, you've only got cadence sensing, right? And second of all, if you change gears, this isn't smart enough to know and to like let off. So, you know, you're accelerating, it's like, and then you change gears and it's like, and it just mashes all over the place. So be careful with that. Also, in this case, we've got special brakes that we aren't using the ones that have the cutoff. So, you know, you could be pulling the brakes here, but still pedaling in it, and then you're gonna have the brakes fighting with the motor. So let's get out on this and give you another quick demo ride. There we go. There's the motor setup. We're just in pedal assist level 1 right now. Pretty smooth and quiet. You can see as soon as I stop pedaling, it keeps going for a second, but it cuts out pretty quickly, which is nice. Got to be careful about turning too hard too, because you don't want to lift this thing off of off of that wheel, you can kind of tip it a little bit. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with it, and it's neat to see a kit like this that you can use in so many applications, and it works well. So yeah, that's the Bafang, Bafang or whatever, BBS02 mid-drive kit. Apparently 8 Fun is like the translation of Bafang, and some people say Bafun, Bafang, whatever. It's all the same company right there. So for more details on this and the full written review with pictures and stuff, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com.